Marcus Aurelius, the last of the so-called 5 good emperors of Rome, and perhaps the only one who truly longed not for power, but for peace. He wrote not to impress, but to understand. He led not for glory, but from duty. And through his private thoughts, later titled Meditations, he left behind a soft lantern of wisdom for those walking the darker paths of life. Long before the weight of the world rested on his shoulders, Marcus was just a boy, thoughtful, reserved, and deeply curious. He was born in the year 121 CE, in the heart of the Roman Empire, into a noble family but not one directly tied to the throne. His father died when he was very young, and so Marcus was raised by his grandfather, who taught him the values of dignity, moderation, and endurance. As a child, Marcus was drawn to philosophy not out of ambition, but instinct. He was calm, measured, and often preferred simplicity over the extravagance of Roman high society. He would sleep on the floor to train his body in discomfort. He would rise before dawn to read the teachings of Epictetus and Zeno. While other children played at war, Marcus played at wisdom. By the time he was a teenager, the reigning Emperor Hadrian noticed something different in him, something quietly powerful. He named Marcus as his successor, not directly, but through adoption into the imperial line. Thus began a life shaped not by personal choice, but by fate, or, as Marcus himself might have called it, nature's course. Through his youth, Marcus trained under the Stoics. He learned that the world would often be chaotic, but within us there could be order. He learned that fame fades, wealth shifts, power decays, but virtue remains. He learned that you cannot control what happens, only how you respond. And slowly, patiently, a boy became something more. Marcus Aurelius became emperor in the year 161 CE, sharing the role with his adoptive brother Lucius Verus. It was not a time of peace. The empire faced war, plague, and deep unrest. But through each crisis, Marcus remained still. He treated hardship not as an interruption, but as a teacher. He spent long nights with generals, long days with scribes, and longer moments with himself. Thinking, writing, reflecting. He wrote to no audience. His words were not intended for history books or marble inscriptions. They were reminders for himself to stay grounded, to live in harmony with nature and not be consumed by ego or despair. He reminded himself, as he reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength to rule Rome and yet renounce control, to lead men but remain a student of virtue. This was the paradox of Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher in a palace, a servant of wisdom in an age of excess. In the final years of his life, while stationed at the front lines of Rome's northern wars, Marcus composed the writings we now call Meditations. He likely never meant to publish them. They were private, quiet thoughts on life, ethics, mortality, and purpose. He wrote in Greek, the language of philosophy, and structured many of his thoughts like notes to himself. And yet, these words have traveled centuries. Simple, quiet, timeless. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Each line is like a soft stone in the stream, smooth, gentle, shaped by pressure and time. When you read Meditations, you are reading a man's private struggle to remain calm, to remain kind, and to remain free of anger in the heart of a crumbling world. The Stoics believed in aligning with nature, not resisting it. Marcus often reminded himself that everything follows a natural rhythm: birth and death, gain and loss, joy and sorrow. He embraced the concept of impermanence, that all things must pass. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Far from being morbid, this was meant to awaken clarity. If life is short, then we must be gentle with others and purposeful with our days. The Stoics also taught dichotomy of control, the idea that we should only concern ourselves with what we can change. Our actions, our judgments, our character, everything else, fate, reputation, the actions of others, is outside of our control and therefore should not disturb our peace. This idea still offers comfort today when the world feels heavy or unfair. Remember, your peace is found not in what happens, but in how you carry it. Let us now drift through some of Marcus's most powerful lessons. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Each line a seed of reflection, each thought a breath of stillness. Marcus teaches us to act justly, to think clearly, and to rest in the simplicity of the present moment. He reminds us to live with dignity, to work with purpose, and to face each day and night with peace. Imagined conversations with Marcus. Imagine, as you lie in bed tonight, Marcus Aurelius beside you, not in armor, not in glory, but as a friend. He says, "You have done your part today. There is nothing more to prove. Let sleep take you." He continues, "You are not your anxieties. You are not your failures. You are the calm center that watches all these pass." And finally, let tomorrow worry for itself. Tonight you rest, and that too is virtuous. Feel the weight of the day lift from your shoulders. Feel the breath slow. Let his words drift over you like a soft wind through leaves. You are safe. You are present. You are enough.